Sophia Nguyen had walked past it a dozen times without noticing. It was a tiny coffee shop on a quiet street corner. No sign, no fancy logo, just a scratched wooden door and the smell of roasted beans drifting into the air. One cold November morning, after a brutal meeting at work where she was once again talked over and underestimated, Sophia finally pushed the door open. Inside, the coffee shop was dimly lit and buzzing with a strange, quiet energy. The walls were lined with books and hand-painted murals. The tables were mismatched. The people, all ages, all colors, all walks of life, laughed and argued and wrote in notebooks. It felt safe. It felt like breathing for the first time. Sophia ordered a coffee and sat in the corner, notebook open, heart heavy. Over the next few weeks, the coffee shop became her sanctuary. Here, no one interrupted her. No one questioned where she was really from. No one assumed she was less intelligent because of the shape of her eyes or the sound of her name. Instead, strangers became friends. An older black woman named Judith shared her poetry. A white teenager fresh from the foster system showed Sophia how to sketch portraits. A Middle Eastern father offered her a taste of his homemade baklava. They didn't just tolerate each other, they celebrated one another. It was a different world inside those walls. One snowy evening, as Sophia was packing up her laptop, she overheard a conversation at the counter. A man, a regular, was asking the owner why there was no name on the door. The owner, a tall man with salt and pepper hair, smiled and said, "Because names are tricky things. Names make people decide if they're welcome before they even step inside." Sophia felt the words hit her like a thunderclap. She remembered all the places she had been judged before she even opened her mouth. She remembered every time her name had been mispronounced or mocked. She remembered being made to feel other before she even had a chance. But here, there were no walls, no barriers, no assumptions. Only people, only humanity. Weeks turned into months, and Sophia blossomed. She started bringing her writing to the shop, reading her poems aloud on open mic nights. She shared stories about growing up Vietnamese American, about the silent struggles and the loud victories. She listened to others' stories too, of immigration, of racism, of hope. And for the first time in her adult life, she didn't feel like she had to shrink herself to fit in. Then, one spring afternoon, disaster struck. A group of protesters appeared outside the coffee shop. They held hateful signs. They shouted cruel words. Apparently, word had spread that the shop was too political, too diverse, too different. The owner quietly locked the door and pulled the blinds. Inside, the regulars sat in stunned silence. Sophia's hands trembled with anger and fear. Would they let hate win? Would they let a few loud voices destroy the haven they had built together? No, not this time. Sophia stood up, heart pounding. She walked to the center of the room and spoke, voice shaking but strong. "They can't take this from us. Not if we stay together. Not if we keep showing up." The room erupted in applause. The next day, Sophia started a campaign, like the place with no name. People flooded social media with stories about what the coffee shop meant to them. Artists painted murals on nearby buildings. Local musicians performed outside. Neighbors brought flowers and messages of support. The protesters eventually gave up, drowned out by the overwhelming noise of love. Today, the coffee shop is more famous than ever, still without a name on the door. Sophia now leads storytelling workshops there, helping people of all races and backgrounds find and share their voices. Because in a world so often divided by labels, appearances, and fear, one small coffee shop proved something powerful. We don't need names to belong to each other. We only need heart. If this story touched your heart, please take a moment to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Your support helps us tell more stories about courage, unity, and the beauty of belonging. Thank you for being here. You belong with us.